All right, let's put the figures on the table right now. In the last 2 weeks or thereabout, we've had quite a number of persons killed, about 90 or thereabout. We've talked about 49 villagers massacred in KB, Kwara, Plateau, a story of the Emir of Gobia in Sokoto State, also losing his life, and people in that communities finding shelter in the bush. In Kaduna, we had 5 persons who were kidnapped in the church, and
No, you
so
don't need to
on.
bother with numbers. Killing is now a normal day thing in Nigeria.
What do we make of
We're
the
not-
government?
Well, first is to look at where we are. When this government came into being, we are number 8 in the most terrorized country in the world. Today we are number 4. And I'm definitely sure that we'll make number 1 if we continue in this direction. There's no way, because it's not being normalized. So no Nigerian even feels that killing people is something to worry about. When I'm about soldiers, as security men, and I'm being killed, and I'm being, you see when they kill one American soldier, soldiers of other countries, you will see even giving them befitting burials and honor and everything. Our one is normalized now that nothing is happening. You just read the newspaper and see what it is every day. I said a few days ago that no country would be where we are without declaring a full war. Every other country would have declared war, but we choose not. Even those who are involved, when 200 people were killed in Niger, it took days for people to visit them. When the same thing happened in Benue, our president only went to Benue government house and said he could not go there because there's no road. Of course, you saw what happened in Jos. He stopped at the airport. So it's not anything. Nobody sees it as anything going wrong. And this is what we need. These are the things we need to ensure that we change through competent leadership that have the capacity to move, have the compassion to know, to prioritize what, when people are suffering, when people are grieving, when people are in pain.
How do we reconcile the fact that we are spending so much on defense and security, yet we are not getting commensurate results? Because if you look at the figures, it is said that we spent about over 38 trillion naira in the last 15 years on defense and security, fighting insecurity, yet we can't say we are better off.
Again, you can't talk about what we are spending. How do we talk about what we are spending in education? How do we talk about what we are spending in health? These are the figures you're hearing. Remember that the Minister of Health said out of 200 and something budgeted, he only got 36 million. So you don't know how much they have reached the final stage of implementation. So you can't just read the figures from the budget. Now you're confusing it. When you said we are putting 3 budgets simultaneously, how do you know which figure is being got? 2, in a country that is insanely corrupt, like one of the former British Prime Ministers said it, you don't know the amount that was actually spent. And these are things we need to change. We need to have a government that means well, spend money properly and transparently, let people see what they're spending money on and everything. But one thing I can tell you is that these things can be tackled. You need a government that is decisive on the issue of security. Because number one thing, a government has to provide security of life and property. You must be decisive. You must take action that people can see visibly and know that you're taking the right action. And the leader must lead from the front. I said it one day, I repeat it today. Where we are now, we're at war. And we must see the leader committed to it. We should have what you can call now war room discussing it, our insecurity every day.
If we now have a bandit group or a terrorist group that possess anti-aircraft weapons and ability, and they are shooting down our aircraft, they have the capacity and capability to do that. So
there's no way. That's why I said you declare war. You now know you're at war. They are no longer normal. It is a war situation. And there's no way a non-state actors can have those weapons, be stronger or more armed than the state. Something is amiss.
You've always said that the North is Nigeria's greatest asset for agriculture. With 70% of Nigeria's arable land, food inflation, of course, is over 14%. Now, how do you plan to solve these problems of insecurity and agricultural investment, knowing that farmers hardly even go to their farms again?
Well, it's two ways. Let me say, I didn't say it's the biggest, I didn't say that our northern Nigeria is our biggest asset for agriculture. No. Northern arable land in Nigeria is our biggest asset. It's far more important to us than oil. You know, we can make more money from the land in the north than we make from oil. And it's very simple. And I can give you nations after nations that are doing so. It is not a rocket science. It's very easy. Today, I give it to the countries that are net exporter. I'll do a first world, I'll do a second world, and I'll do a third world. If you take Netherlands as the first world, the entire size of Netherlands is 41,000 square kilometers, including water. If you minus water, it's 33,000 square kilometers. And if you check, annually, Netherlands exports 120 billion worth of agricultural products or related products. Netherlands. 120 billion euros, not actual dollars. By the time you convert it to dollars, it's about 130. That is 3 times what we earn from oil. And they're living on 33,000 square kilometers. We have a state in Nigeria called Niger State, which is 76.3 thousand square kilometers. Fertile land. About 5 to 7 states of that state is occupied by bandits. Fertile land. So that means that state can do more than what Netherlands is doing in terms of agricultural products. You have less people living in Niger State than people who live in Netherlands. Netherlands is almost 18 million people. Niger is about 7 million. So they have more space for agricultural products. That is not happening. You look at other states. A state like Borno is again source of problem for us, with terrorists occupying some of the space, especially the Sambisa forest area. Sambisa forest area, the entire Sambisa forest area is about 60,000 square kilometers. That is about 3 times the size of Israel. Israel is 22,000 square kilometers of land. So, and this one is 66. So times 3 is 66. This one is 60. Israel is a net exporter of food. That's what you can call the second world. And then you go to a third world, Bangladesh. Bangladesh today have moved from importer of rice to third biggest producer of rice. From importer to third biggest producer and net exporter of rice. Bangladesh is the third world. Bangladesh's size is 148,000 square kilometers plus, with a population of over 160 million people, so it's highly dense. Yet, Bangladesh produces 50 to 60 million tons of unmilled rice. We don't produce 10% of that. But there are two states that I mentioned to you, two, Niger and Borno, 76.3 and 70.8 is 147,000 square kilometers, which is about the size of Bangladesh. Today, until recently, we're importing tea, we're importing coffee. Ethiopia, I'm giving you countries in Africa. Ethiopia is sitting over about $1 billion in export of coffee. Kenya is doing about $500 million exporting flowers. If you go to Kenya during Valentine and everything, you see planes all moving out of flowers, just flowers. It's not sophistication. We have a land in Mambila area of Taraba. The entire Taraba is 54,000 something square kilometers. I can go on and on. We have a problem in the country. We have land, we have what it takes to change the country. You just need a leader that is competent and understand what other nations are doing. Because what they're doing is not rocket science. It's something we can do. We have to build a nation where there's unity, where there's love, where people care, where you wake up in the morning. You're talking about insecuring the place. You have to secure the place using the same people, because these people today you're seeing that are causing insecurity, they did not start with gun. What started it is failure of governance, failure of institutions, failure of justice, failure of social contract. So you have government, they're not doing anything. So you need to go back and start investing in those areas where the children are supposed to be in school, where there's going to be a health provision, where mothers, children can go to hospitals and be taken care of because there's insurance for everybody and all that. And then you start pulling people out of poverty. It's been proven from South America to Asian countries, the more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. This is not rocket science. So there are things you can do. And in critical areas, then you see it happen. And that's what I'm going around preaching and telling people.
You want to be the president of Nigeria.